The Waqf Board and its unbridled powers that allow it to be the judge, jury and executioner when it comes to staking claim to a property are all set to be clipped. Sources suggest that the Modi government is gearing to reform the 1995 Waqf Act, the legal shield that acts as an enabler and empowers the Waqf Board to claim any property, viewers, any property as their own. And forever. Once a Waqf, always a Waqf. And what is worse is that you cannot even take a judicial recourse. The aggrieved needs to go to Waqf tribunal to get his grievance addressed, and no civil court, not even the Supreme Court, can override its verdict. Now it is these powers that are being scrutinized. The proposed amendments call for transparency. Now the claims made by the Waqf boards will have to be verified, and the same will be applicable to the disputes. However, the critics of these reforms see BJP RSS agenda and an act of revenge after the recent poll results.
मोदी सरकार ये चाह रही है कि पूरे वक्फ बोर्ड की प्रॉपर्टीज को छीन लिया जाए.
It is a long-standing requirement, and I think that reform will give lot of justice to the Muslim women.
या मुसलमान भाइयों को कैसे उनके अधिकारों को छीना जाए.
लॉन्ग पेंडिंग प्रॉब्लम का जो है वो लॉजिकल एंडिंग सोल्यूशन देश के हित में भी है और खुद जो है वक्फ के हित में भी है.
Let's open this up. Tuhin Sinha joins us, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ishtaran also with us, advocate analyst. Tariq Khan, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Lokesh Jindal stays on. Atikur Rahman also with us. Ishtaran, the people who are protesting about the proposed amendments are saying, come what may, we will not allow this. This is not reform.
This is basically what has happened is people don't see this act in its isolation. I will tell you two acts you have to see them together. First is Places of Worship Act, where the then government says a Hindu, if he wants to have any claim on a mandir, it is barred because there cannot be any conversion or any claim on a places of worship. Of course, the court has gone further and judgments have come on that. And on the other hand, a Waqf Act is created in 1995, completely changed overall, and then further strengthened in 2013, where the Waqf in itself is a code, where they can declare any property to be a Waqf property. They have become the third largest landowner in India with land upwards of 9 lakh acres, where the number of properties have doubled in the last 10-15 years, which they claim, and where in Section 85 they bar out the jurisdiction of civil courts. They say no jurisdiction of civil courts in these matters, where a survey commissioner is appointed by the government and paid by the government, where their orders get enforced because they can refer it to an executive magistrate who then can use police powers, where their survey commissioners get the power of a civil court, where the members of Waqf Board, its auditors, are declared public servants. You understand what is a public servant? How anybody can't protest against a public servant? Why, when you are making law for one religion, are you giving that body the privilege of being a public servant, barring out the jurisdiction of civil courts? Why do you need to have that in a democratic country of barring the jurisdiction of civil courts? Where you give them overwhelming power, where without following any process under ordinary civil courts, where there is protection to people, you can declare any property as Waqf. It was reported in media how a 1500-year-old temple was claimed to be a Waqf land, which is on the face of it rather strange how you can claim that. But lastly, one important point I want to say, these were laws made for appeasement, which is borne out. Just before 2014, 123 prime properties in Lutyens, Delhi, the government, the UPA government gave it to Waqf. And that this government is also taking back. This law was made to give assurance that whatever you want to claim will be yours and we will bar the jurisdiction of courts. Unfortunately, this draconian law has gone on too long. To me, it should be abolished. If anybody says, this is my property, please go to the civil court, win your case, and like any other citizen of the country, get that property.
Like any other citizen of the country, Lokesh Jindal, you should be thankful to the BJP. You should tell them, look, we made a mistake. It was a blunder. You know, stretched it for too long. Thank you for at least trying to correct it.
No, Pranesh, my friend Ishkaran is not well informed. Waqf Act 1995, it clearly states that an appeal against the decision of the board can be made to a tribunal, which is all similar to the civil court. And a tribunal shall comprise of 3 members. The first would be the judicial.
No, I know that, but it is like the civil court, not the civil court.
Just a minute, Pranesh. The second has to be a state public services member, and third has to be a member who is well versed with Islamic law. So this tribunal nowhere states that the person has to be a practicing Muslim or there is.
But why? But why do you need it when we have, a well-functioning judiciary in the country? Why do you need this?
No, in fact, I would say, Pranesh, a tribunal constituted is better because that ensures that there is a speedy justice. If there is no tribunal in civil cases.
It's a great system that you're trying to tinker with.
Yeah. Well, Pranesh, the amendments to the Waqf Act of 1995 and then of early 2014 are so spurious that they carry malified intent. It almost seems that the Waqf board is supposed to be an agent of the Congress party and indulge in land aggrandizement because, the way they have indulged in this thing, the victims are not just the Hindus. The victims are also members of the Muslim community. Besides, of course, the glaring instances, a village called Chendurai in Tamil Nadu, which has a 1500-year-old temple. Imagine making a sudden claim by the Waqf board that the entire village belongs to them. A village called Jatlana in Haryana, where a Gurudwara has existed for the last 500 years. Imagine the Waqf board making a sudden claim. On a friendly advice, as a friendly advice, Pranesh, I would advise you not to call any Waqf board member to your studio because they can suddenly claim that the Times Now building belongs to them. The issue is not about, like my friend Lokesh is trying to obfuscate and say that there is a tribunal or there is, a system involved over here. The issue is about giving disproportionate powers to claim something belonging as yours.
All in the name of secularism.
Without any law.
Tariq Khan, all this has been allowed in the name of secularism. Now that the government is talking about reform, there is a problem.
I'm just reading out कि बोर्ड की किस धारा में it's written over there कि उसमें सिविल कोर्ट में मुकदमा चलाया जा सकता है। 1995 की धारा 13 उप धारा 3 के मुताबिक किसी भी सिविल कोर्ट में वो मुकदमा चलाया जा सकता है। आप देख लीजिए, आपके पास होगा, जस्ट रीड इट आउट। आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 1995 एक्ट, धारा 13 उप धारा 3। Just read it out. What is Updhara 3? Point number 1. Point number 2. If any type of case cannot be carried out against the claim of Waqf board, how is the case of Gyanvapi is there? We are having Gyanvapi case in the court. How is it's a Waqf property, Waqf as a claim. How is the Ayodhya case gone to court, Waqf number 26? How is the Mathura and Eidgah case gone to case? What is the reason? Waqf has already said that this is my property and all the Waqf have a number. Waqf number 23, 24, 26. They are in the court. How it has happened? How it is happened? Nowhere in that act is written that they can claim. There is a procedure. That and tribunal. What is DRT? What is DRT? Tribunal is everywhere. What is DRT? You know what is DRT? Debt Revenue Tribunal. Debt Revenue Tribunal is for the bank who are not
भाई ये सब आपने
paying the
सेक्शन सब सेक्शन पढ़ लिया, लेकिन आप ये नहीं बता रहे हैं कि फाइनल डिसीजन फिर भी ट्राइब्यूनल का ही है। इस्टरन
नहीं अगर फाइनल डिसीजन ट्रिब्यूनल का है तो you
firstly let's not misinform people. Let me just, if it's a question to me, let us not misinform people. Section 85 is crystal clear. Bar of jurisdiction of civil court. Your audiences are very well educated. You can just Google section 85. It's a clear bar. No suit or other legal proceedings shall lie in any civil court, revenue court, or any other authority in respect of any dispute, question, or other matter relating to Waqf property, or other matter which is required by or under this act to be determined by a tribunal. So it's a very clear bar, and it is any language. So let's not try to misinform people. The second aspect is you have given them the powers of, say, a Waqf board, the powers of a civil code. You have given the survey commissioner the power of a civil code. You have declared them public servants. We have had cases, as rightly pointed out by Tuhin, and I also said, of properties 100, 500, 800,000, 1,500 years ago, also now being claimed as Waqf. We have had the Delhi UPA government transferring 123 properties just before the elections to the Delhi Waqf Board, which is now pending in High Court, which obviously was the sop to win the election. We have had, as I said, see both the laws. In one law, Places of Worship Act, you say a Hindu having a claim over a mandir cannot go to a civil court. That was the intent. Of course, it was pathetically drafted, and there are exceptions, and the court has said what is happening. Also, at the other hand, you make a Waqf Act in which you say you can, even to defend your property, not go to a civil court. See the bias. At what is the general law? You believe it's your property, you belong to Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, Christian. The general law is you go to a civil court, you prove it's your property. If it is yours, you get it. That entire purpose behind this Waqf Act is to exclude civil court, to have a Muslim board. In that Muslim board, with its own special procedure, its own special law, its own special understanding, even properties of trust duly registered, they can declare it as a Waqf property. And then, once that has happened, the person is put under pressure. He has to run from pillar to post. So I will just end by saying, don't see this in isolation. See the plan from Places of Worship Act to the Waqf Act to treat the Hindus in this country, to bar their access to courts and to give exclusive benefits, encapsulated by Dr. Manmohan Singh, that minorities have the first right in resources, and which minority he was referring to, everybody knows.
Atikur Rahman, why should the Waqf have this special status?
Fine, Pranesh, and well said, Ishkaran and Mr. Tuhin. I completely agree that the Waqf boards have, acted arbitrarily. They have usurped the powers they were entitled to. The crimes they have committed, the proceeds of this crime have gone to whom, Pranesh? Since 1930 till now, there are 24 amendments to the Waqf Act, and every amendment has increased the power of the state, not the community. The crimes of the proceeds of this crime have not given anything.
Atikur Rahman, do you back the reform or not? Do you back the reform, yes or no?
Who are? That's it. That's it. Now we are expecting the reformist amendment from a government whose premier has said that they are the Ghuspetiyas and zyade bacche paida karne wale. What can we expect? What are we expecting from this government? If the government is serious, then in the same manner as the Supreme Court has opined that wherever there is a religious trust and there is a misappropriation of the funds, correct the misappropriation, correct the anomalies.
So you're not answering the question. What is so special about the Waqf board? 1 minute. Atikur Rahman Sahab, please sir. Itna samay nahi hai. Aap bataiye, what is so special about the Waqf board? Why are you, no. Why should the government not touch it?
The Waqf boards are neck deep into corruption.
Then you should welcome the reform. Condemn the comments by Owaisi and All India Muslim Personal Law Board. What is the Muslim? All India Muslim Personal Law Board ne kaha hai, dare you touch the Waqf Act? What is the All India Muslim Personal Law Board?
Mr. Owaisi, I want, Pranesh, please let me complete. I want the Muslims who have donated their lands in the name of Allah, that should be benefiting my community, the Muslims. Why?
So who is at fault? The Waqf? Sir, wahi to Ishtaran wahi bata rahe the aapko. The Waqf board, no, 1 minute sir, the Waqf board is perpetuating the injustice that you're talking about, that the government wants to now correct. And you have a problem in that. Ishtaran, 30 seconds and we end the show.
Yes. Just see, that's a separate point. If some pious Muslim wants to donate it to Waqf in an orderly manner, that's okay. But you see the number of complaints. If I'm not 58,000 complaints against Waqf boards across states on how they are proceeding. But the other part is, if you want to donate your money, donate it to a trust, like any ordinary trust for religious purpose, which every other religion establishes.
Exactly.
Why this special Waqf Act in which you are getting overriding powers of being a civil court? You establish a trust like every religion establishes for its own people or its own pious purpose.
Because you see, this is for votes. Let's see when it ends, when the changes kick in. Tuhin Sinha, can you give us a date? Tuhin, can you give us a date? When will this be done?
Date for what?
For the reforms to kick in.
It's very much work in progress. In a secular country, let me make a small point over here. In a secular country, there can be no place for land jihad. The kind of whataboutery, in fact, Samajwadi Party spokesperson seems to have spilled the beans. कि आप जहां रिलीजियस हिंदू तीर्थ स्थल देखेंगे वहां पहले ही जो है आप घोषित कर देंगे कि ये हमारी लैंड है.
But Tuhin Sinha, it took your government 10 years to realize this simple fact.
No place in a civilized society.
We've run out of time. We're taking a short break. News hour with Navita Kumar on the other side.